You know, I listened to a wise professor discussing our faulty system here, and the commentator kept saying, don't you think that the system's falling apart? I mean, the wise old professor said, you know, you are correct. It is a very flawed system, but capitalism is the least bad. It has the least number of flaws. It is not a perfect system, but look at the alternatives.
You know, nothing's perfect, obviously, in life. And as we said, this isn't a failure of capitalism. This is a criminal activity. And we all know what they did in deregulating the markets with Glass-Steagall, making it legal for all these derivative games to be played. And the same people that did it, the Robert Rubins, the Larry Summers, you know, they're the ones, especially Rubin and Paulson, the Goldman Sachs gang leader over there, you know, they're the ones that created these problems. So it has nothing to, the country worked fine. People ask us, you know, what are some of the solutions? Oh, it's very simple. We don't need Wall Street. We need Main Street. We don't need Walmarts. We need mom and pops. And we don't need factory farms with putting out this crummy food that's making so many people sick and poisoning the planet. In the meantime, we need family farms. So it's family farms, it's mom and pops, it's Main Street, and that's not rhetoric, Chris, because when we had that model, we were the most egalitarian nation on earth. And now the gap between the rich and the poor in the USA is the widest of any of the industrialized nations.
Well, I'm right on board with you there, but what concerns me, this system is so skewed towards maintaining the status quo, and gone are the days of laissez-faire government. I mean, this is a government that has its fingers in every area of our life. I'm convinced if they could find a way to put a camera in every room of everyone's house, you know, nothing would stop them. With that in mind, how do we get back to the roots, the former glory days, the Tom Joad?
One of the things when you go back to that model of Main Street, mom and pop and family farms, there was one word that was a thread through all of those, and that was quality. Quality counted. We weren't a bottom line society, and now we are. It's all about price. And with quality comes many different things. You look at, I'm up here in Kingston, New York, the capital of New York State during the Revolution. Beautiful Dutch architecture. It's beautiful. And yet there's beauty for the eyes. You drive 10 minutes and you go by the mall. You could be anywhere in the United States, one ugly street after another. Strips of just junk. So the country's turned into a bottom-line country. Look what the people look like. We've overconsumed in every way. So until we go back to quality, and part of quality is art, and a renaissance, when you look at the rebirth, and a rebirth of this country, it's bringing art back. You go down to the Woolworth building in New York City and go into the lobby. It's beautiful, beautiful. And then go to a checkout counter at Sam's Club. You know, so it has to be art as we see it, because art is one of the ways of finding the true meaning of the human spirit. And tightly tied into art is quality. Quality entertainment, quality life, quality food. My mantra is I don't buy corporate. I buy local. I support my neighbor. It's my community first, my neighbor first, America first, and we have enough going on here where we don't have to import cheap junk.
Well, no, hat tip to you. I mean, that's clearly the way to be. I actually live in a rural area myself, have little choice in the matter. We have to support our local folks here because they keep us going. But, you know, I wonder, how do we reconcile this juxtaposition between the Walmart that we've run into, as you mentioned, Walmart and Chili's and all these fast food corporatocracy, if I can borrow from John Perkins, and then capitalism that we were talking about earlier?
That's not capitalism. What they did is they tipped the field. They did away with the acts, the antitrust acts, the Robinson-Patman, Clayton antitrust, that prohibited these big guys from doing these big deals to squeeze everybody out And then with the politicians in their pockets, they give, you want to open it, you want to build a big development, a big mall, a stadium, you name it, we'll give you tax breaks, you'll get loan guarantees, we'll build infrastructure, you're bigger, you're better. This country became a country of too big to fails. Who foisted that one upon us? This used to be the entrepreneurial empire of the world. You rise and fell on your own merits. You know, I have to tell you, people ask me, am I angry? Let me tell you what I'm angry about, Chris. I don't like my money going to Lloyd Blankfein, Jamie Dimon, Thane. I don't like my money going to the Merrill Lynch mob, the Goldman Sachs gang. I don't like it one bit. Who are they to take my money, saying that they need it, and without it, prosperity will die, the sun won't shine, and crops won't grow? How could people believe these two-bit lines?
But you know, Gerald, how are they going to afford those beach houses? How are they going to afford
the jet plane? Of course.
Heaven forbid that the GM CEO actually drive a vehicle to his Washington plea for funds for his company. I mean, he's got his own private jet. So, I don't know. Maybe we're out of touch here.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Okay, well, listen, let's quickly touch on this housing implosion, because that fits right in with soaring unemployment as well as the economic downturn. And, this housing bust, the government seems to think we're in the 8th or 9th inning of it. I'm not convinced. I think maybe we're only in the 5th inning. I mean, the typical spring buying spree, it's come and passed. Gave us a few months of uptick in the Case-Shiller index. But meanwhile, the number of folks who owe more on their homes, they're upside down, underwater, whatever term you want to use, thanks to these options-only loans, well, it's looking worse than the former subprime disaster.
Well, again, they come up with schemes undreamed of, and as we know, for first-time home buyers, they get an $8,000 tax break, and there's talk about them increasing that. So that's what juiced sales. I mean, when you look at where the sales came from, they're mostly at the lower end and first-time home buyers. Now they're talking about extending that to $15,000 and to give it to everyone. So that's going to keep the market going again. Again, it's another bailout. And people say, is this socialism? It's not socialism. Socialism's egalitarianism. This is, according to Mussolini, the merger of state and corporate powers. And you mentioned about if they could have cameras in our bedrooms. It's called fascism, according to Mussolini, and that's what's happened. The corporate oligarchs are taking over the country in banking and you name it, in food, in pharmaceuticals. And down the line, the numbers don't lie. We have them all. Actually, we did a special report in the Autumn Trends Journal. It just went out about this very issue. So the home buying, it's just another giveaway to the real estate sector, and they're propping it up. It can't sustain itself, and when you look at where all the loans, the mortgages are being covered by the FHA, and I believe already some 24% of what they've doled out is coming back already bad. Where I think you have to put up only 3.5%. So they're creating another bubble, and it's going to burst. You cannot prop the country up by printing money.
If you add the FHA to Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie Mae, as well as the veteran loans, it racks up to the government owning approximately 2 out of every 3 existing mortgages in this country. Now, one fellow suggested, why not just offer this loan assistance to our veterans, a tax credit, and maybe they would buy up some of these foreclosed homes, take care of them, and get them off the market.
You just can't keep printing money up for anybody, anywhere, anyway. And when you look at the minuscule cutbacks that the federal government has made, they amount to nothing. They're actually increases. There have been no cutbacks. So we're expanding in every way. When you also look at how many states are going bankrupt, the worst is yet to come. Again, the collapse happened this past March when the equity markets virtually did collapse. They're being held up by pillars of paper money. And once those pillars crumble, there'll be no more paper to put under it.
All right. For folks who'd like to learn out more about your work at the Trends Research Institute and your latest edition there, please tell them how they can direct their browsers and any other contact info.
Well, our website is Trends, that's plural, trendsresearch.com, trendsresearch.com. Chris, we know that people are going through difficult times. So we have a special box there. If you're unemployed, if you're disabled, going through difficult times, we try to make every accommodation we can to get you the Trends Journal to help prepare you for the future. And if we have to give it away for free, we do that as well. These are times to move ahead, not follow your leaders. Think on your feet, think for yourself, because we believe that a major crisis is going to come, and to be prepared for it. It costs nothing to be prepared.
We need more folks in Congress with this attitude.
Well, we're not going to get it from the two-headed one-party system. They're bought and paid for.
All right. Well, sir, thank you so much for joining me on the program today.
Well, thank you, Chris.